Hello, welcome back. We're going to talk about recruiting, and I'm going to give you some tips that will hopefully help you with recruiting and building your team. Like I said, your promotions are going to depend on your recruiting. So I want to give you some tips so that you can start building your teams. Or if you've already begun building your teams, to continue to build your teams and have a little more success at it. If you follow the easy peasy two-step with Pink Zebra, it is to have 2 parties a week, book 2 parties off of each party, and have 2 recruits each month, and also to have 2 events or 2 fundraisers a quarter. Now, sometimes recruiting is a little scary. So let's talk about mindset. I can tell you when I started with Pink Zebra, I was scared to start recruiting. And I had a mindset. So let's talk about mindset. And I'll tell you how mine was, because you might identify with that. You might be like, wow, that's exactly how I feel. When I started with Pink Zebra, I was really, really super shy. So I was afraid to recruit. And there was a number of reasons that I was afraid to recruit. I was afraid that I would come across as pushy. I was afraid that I would be like that used car salesman, that person that you try to avoid because they just don't take no for an answer. And I was also afraid of rejection. It took me a little while to figure out that when somebody said no, that they weren't rejecting me personally, they were rejecting the business opportunity. Maybe they didn't feel like it was a good fit for them. And sometimes I found out that even though they said no right now, maybe in a couple months, no turned into maybe. And then maybe a couple months later, then maybe turned into yes. So no doesn't always mean no all the time or forever. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. I was also afraid that I had just started with Pink Zebra, and I didn't know much about Pink Zebra. I didn't know much about direct sales. I didn't know much about recruiting. So how could I recruit people and build a team? But then there is that law of one more than. You've been in the business one more day than them, one more hour than them, one more minute than them. So one more, however much more than they do. Now, is it possible that eventually your downline is going to know more than you do? Sure. And you may recruit somebody in your downline that has more experience in direct sales than you, but that's okay. You can learn from them. We can learn from each other. That's the beauty of what we do. This is a sisterhood. It's a brotherhood. We're a family. We can learn from each other. I also had the mindset that I can't do it. Sadly, whatever you think you can't do, you're exactly right. And that's because you've given yourself permission, number 1, to fail. You've told yourself that you can't do it. Can't never did anything. So if you think you can't do it, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be exactly right. But if you believe that you can do it, well, the opposite is also true. Whatever you believe you can do because you haven't let yourself believe that there's any doubt that you can accomplish it. I also was super, super, super shy. So people that meet me now can't believe how shy I used to be. They're like, you weren't that shy. Yeah, I kind of was. I still struggle with the shyness, but not nearly as bad. I was afraid of everything. I was afraid of trying. I was afraid of venturing out. I was afraid of asking anybody if they wanted to join this opportunity because I was just afraid. And that was because I was so shy. And then I also had the mindset of, well, what if I talk to them and I talk them into joining and then they can't sell it? And they can't recruit a team and they can't become successful. And then that's going to be my fault because I talk them into joining. Well, here's the thing about that. You are not responsible for whether or not they can or can't do something. That is on them. So you can't own their success, nor can you own their failure. Their success or failure is going to depend on them. And that was a hard thing for me to learn because that was also one of the things that I was afraid of to recruit because I was afraid, what if I talk them into signing up and then they couldn't do it. Well, I wasn't responsible for their success or their failure. That lies on them. So you can't let these things stop you. One of the biggest things that I had to learn, and it was a very hard thing for me to learn because I believe in this opportunity. I believe it's possible, and I believe everybody has the potential within themselves to change their life, to do things that they never thought they could do, to grow into a better version of themselves, to achieve the success that they want for themselves, to change their life. I believe everybody has that power within themselves. And I want everybody to achieve their dreams and their goals with Pink Zebra. I want that. But the problem is that I can't want it for them more than they want it for themselves. I can give them tips. I can give them suggestions. I can tell them what I did. I can lay out what my journey was. I can tell them where everything is in the back office. I can cheer them on. I can try to encourage them. I can try to motivate them. But at the end of the day, they're the ones that has to do the work. So I can't be responsible for their success or their failure because that lies in their own hands. So you can't let the fear that you've talked somebody into something and then they fall flat on their face be the reason why you don't ever talk to anybody, because that's not really your responsibility. I do have people on my team where I have wanted it so bad for them, and I've done everything I can. I've given them all the tips. I've told them how I've done things. I've given them ideas. I've tried to brainstorm with them, and if they keep coming back with I can't, there's not much I can do for them because I can't do it for them. Okay, so you have to take that out of the equation. When you start talking to people about the business, let me go back to when I first started. I was super shy, and I didn't start to grow as a person as an more outgoing person until I had stepped into the leadership role. If somebody would have told me 4 years ago that I would be on Facebook Live, I would be making YouTube videos, I would be speaking at rallies, I would be leading rallies, I would be speaking at reunion, I would be training people, I would be doing events by myself, going into strangers' house and having parties. If somebody would have told me I would have been doing all that, I would have laughed my head off. I would have told them they were totally on crack because that is not something that I ever saw myself doing. But when I stepped into leadership, I realized that the world had opened up, and all of a sudden I believed that I could do anything. So whatever you have in your mind, whatever your mindset is, that is going to control a lot of it. So when you are talking to people about the business opportunity, when you're going out and you're prospecting and you're recruiting, you can't have an agenda. If you are only talking to somebody for the strict purpose of trying to get them to join your team, it's going to cause a lot of stress. It's going to cause a lot of anxiety. It's going to make you afraid because you have an ulterior motive. And it's going to convey itself, and people will try to avoid you. But what we are in is a networking business, okay? It's all about building relationships. So when I go out and I talk to people about Pink Zebra, if you've ever been with me, if you've ever listened to me, you will notice that when I talk about Pink Zebra, I never ask people to buy. I never talk about it. I share what it is. I share how amazing it is. You can see I'm passionate about it. I talk about the opportunity. I talk about how it's changed my life, but I'm not with an agenda. I need you to buy. I need you to book a party. I need you to join my team. Do I want them to? Well, sure I do. Sure I do. But all I am doing is sharing what it is, how amazing it is, my absolute love for the product and the company, my love for my team, and I'm sharing how it's changed my life, what it's done for me, and how excited I am about what I do. How many people can say that they work a corporate job in corporate America and absolutely love what they do? Not very many. I can't say nobody, because there are people out there that love what they do. There are. And if you're one of those people, you're absolutely the luckiest person in the world. But 9 times out of 10, somebody is going to be talking to you and they hate their job. They hate what they do. They hate the company. They hate their boss. They hate their coworkers. They hate something about what they're doing for a living, but they have to do it. One of the other mindsets that I had was it's a necessary evil. Recruiting is a necessary evil. And doesn't that just sound so negative, though? It's a necessary evil. But when I changed how I thought about it, it became fun. It became something that was not stressful anymore. It became something that I enjoyed doing because I took all the pressure off of it. I realized that I'm not responsible for talking anybody into signing up. All I have to do is share what it's done for me and share that the opportunity is available to everyone. Share what the product is, share what the company is, how much I love my team, and then it's up to the person I'm talking to decide whether or not this is something that they want to invest in for themselves or whether this might be something that somebody they know would be interested in. But it is not my job to try to talk somebody into joining in up with my team or my business. I just have to share it. They have to decide whether or not they want to join it. Once I took that pressure off of myself, it was a whole different ballgame. It was no longer a necessary evil because I didn't feel any pressure to have to try to twist somebody's arm behind their back and talk them into joining. It was just me sharing my love for Pink Zebra, my team, and what I'm doing, and let everything else fall into its place. Because if you're excited and you're passionate about what you're doing and you love what you're doing, it's going to show when you talk to people. But when you take the agenda out of the equation, everybody with a pulse is a potential teammate. That adds so much pressure and that takes so much joy out of your life. No wonder nobody likes recruiting, right? So it became a game. And I love games. I'm a competitive person. I love games. So I'm always trying to do better than I did yesterday. And that's the win-win of being a little bit of a competitive person, but I compete against myself. But when I took the agenda out of what I was doing and just enjoyed the process, enjoyed getting to know people, enjoyed getting to talk to people, enjoyed meeting people, it changed the journey and it changed my outlook. It was no longer a necessary evil because I was having fun. I was out on a treasure hunt. I was out trying to find people who were as hungry for the success as I was. Because let's face it, this is an opportunity to be a business owner, to be your own boss. Why wouldn't somebody want to do that? I got no idea. When I signed up with Pink Zebra, I signed up specifically because I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't want to work for somebody else. I didn't want somebody else calling the shots. I didn't want somebody else telling me what I had to do, when I had to do it, setting my hours for me. I wanted to be able to work on my own, at my own pace, on my own terms. I wanted to be the boss. Now, there's a lot of opportunities out there to start a business. Brick and mortar, those have a lot of startup. I didn't have a lot of startup. I had a lot of debt. That made it a little hard for me to be able to go out and open a business in a brick and mortar building. Plus then you have rental insurance, you have to get, you have employees and all these other things. And it's a lot of expense. This is a business in a box for $99. It was a win, right? I was able to start a business for $99. And I was working on my own terms, at my own pace, setting my own hours. Nobody was telling me what to do. I was. But some people, that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing. And they prefer to work for somebody else. And that's okay. That's perfectly okay. But some people don't want to have a boss. And here we are. So you have to realize that not everybody's going to have the same viewpoint as you do. And you have to realize that not everybody with a pulse is a potential recruit. You have to take the agenda out of it, because then when you take the agenda out of it, you sparkle and you radiate this energy and this excitement because you love what you do and you're not afraid to talk about it anymore. And that's going to draw people to you. So when you're talking to people, you need to use what we call form, okay? And it's very easy, and it's going to make you an awesome person to talk to. You're going to make the connections. You're going to start building those relationships. You're going to draw people to you, and you're going to learn about people, and it's all about the journey. So form is family. So you want to talk to this person about their family. People love to talk about themselves, okay? So all you have to do is ask questions and then listen. Listen to the answers. Okay, you want to ask them about their family. Do they have any kids? How old are their kids? How many kids do they have? How many grandkids do they have, etc., right? O is occupation. What do they do for a living? How long have they done it? Do they like it? Because they'll tell you that they don't like it if they don't like it, right? Hello, if they don't like it, there's an opportunity there, right? Now you can talk about the business and how much you love it and how much fun it is, and you can talk it up and make it seem like it's enticing and they might be interested in it. You want to talk about R. R is recreation. What do they do for fun? How often do they get to do it? Where was the last vacation they went? What if they could earn all expense paid trips to places like Costa Rica, Panama, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Mexico? So hello, and they say, I haven't taken a vacation in like forever. Here's an opportunity to talk about the trips that Pink Zebra provides, all expenses paid, and they have that opportunity to earn those trips. Again, you're just throwing it out there. You're sharing what the company does. You're sharing what they can earn. You're sharing what can happen. They have to decide whether or not, I could so do this, right? And then the last one is message. If you're hearing a need in any of these categories that you can address with Pink Zebra, with your opportunity, you have to be willing and ready, and you have to listen for it so that you can share that message. That's why you're asking the questions, so that you can find out how to present the business in a way that it seems like it will meet the needs that they have given you. Regardless of whether they think they've given you their needs or not, they're telling you when they say, oh, I have 5 kids, 3 of them are getting ready to go off to college in the next 3 years, and I have no idea how I'm going to pay for it. Pink Zebra to the rescue. Yeah, I work for a company. I've worked there for 10 years. Oh my God, it's got to the point where I cry when I go to work. I don't want to be there anymore, but I don't know what else I can do because I've been there for so long. Pink Zebra to the rescue. Can they quit right away? Probably not, but within a year or two, they might have replaced that full-time salary and now they're doing something they love, right? Recreation. Well, I haven't had a vacation in I don't know how many years because we can't afford it. Pink Zebra to the rescue because they can earn an all-expense-paid trip to some place like Dominican Republic. So you want to be able to ask the questions in following this format and then listen for the opportunity to present your message. They may hear it, they may not. Again, that's up to them. You've shared it. That's the extent of your responsibility, right? Nobody can be talked into. You don't want somebody that can be talked into something. Because if you can talk them into it and they were resistant and you just talked and talked and talked and talked and talked till you convinced them that this was a good idea, so you talked them into it, guess what? That person can be talked right back out of it. And this happened on my team. Somebody got talked into it, and then the next thing we know, family and friends poo-pooed it. Why are you doing this? It's a scheme, it's a scam. You're never going to make any money with this, the naysayers. And they got talked right back out of it. So before they ever got out of the starting gate, they're dead in the water. So anybody that can be easily talked into something or can be talked into it can also be talked right back out of it. So you don't want to have to try to talk people into it. That's not your job. It's just your job to share it and let them decide for themselves whether or not they want to be invested in it. Because if they decide on their own and the wheels start turning, and they can see themselves doing this, and they can see themselves on the beach in the Dominican Republic, and they can see themselves replacing this job that they can't stand and being able to work at home with their kids and do something that they love, that they have fun with. If they can visualize that and they can buy into that vision for themselves, they're going to be invested in it emotionally and mentally, and they're probably going to not be talked out of it. So you want to make sure that you talk to everyone. Ask questions from everybody. Is everybody going to be a candidate for a recruit? Nope. But you're going to have people who might know somebody, and you're also going to have people who will be like, you know what, I don't really want to join this business, but I will be happy to support you. I want to have a party. So make sure you talk to everybody, but leave the agenda out of it, because you're going to have so much more fun. It's going to reflect in the way you approach it, because you've taken all the stress out of it, and you're going to find out that it changes your results dramatically. So go out there and talk to people and use the form family, occupation, and recreation, and listen for that opportunity to present your message. You can do it. Go out there and talk to people and leave the agenda out of it. Have fun with it. Love and sprinkles.